The Bible tells the true history of the earth, part 2. The source is not trust me, bro. Every civilization that could write wrote this down. And if they couldn't write, they drew it for us. Our story picks back up with the game of telephone. In elementary school, they'd get us to stand in one big circle, and the teacher would whisper a phrase in the first child's ear. And the phrase made its way around the circle, with each child whispering it to the next. Now, of course, all kind of giggling ensued. Little bit of mayhem, quite a few distractions. There was naughty kids in the circle just waiting for their chance to say pee pee poo poo. Suffice it to say, when the last kid said the phrase out loud, it was not what the teacher had whispered. And that is a direct example of how history has been handed down since the flood. So after the flood, Noah's 3 sons and their wives repopulated the earth. And if you're wondering how this happened, the genetics tell us that all modern humans are descended from one single woman. And they also tell us we are descended from one single man. Now, science might not agree with me yet, but that's Noah and his wife. A bottleneck in population is recorded. God put a cap on interfamily relations in 1400 BC, and we're all at least 56 cousins today. So Nimrod conquered the new nations that had formed and got them all together, and they built this Tower of Babel, you see. They were trying to get to heaven to make God answer for why he had killed their gods in a flood, because they had that old world religion. And we know that because the Watchers had taught men civilization, and God wiped that all off with the flood. And here these fellas were raising it all over again. And God said, look, they all have one language, and this thing they're beginning to do. Now there is nothing they won't be able to figure out. Let's go down and confuse their languages. And so the earth was divided among the people, and they spread out in those days. And as the people spread out into all the earth, they found in every place the ancient remains of a civilization wiped by the flood. In Egypt, the monuments are all dated according to the crappy graffiti that's scratched into the surface. And in every place, the ancient monuments are dated by the clumsy reconstruction of the people that came after the fact. Or the people that arrived there knew better and buried them entirely. Genesis 10 tells you Japheth's descendants and names them all here. They are the original peoples of Europe in the far north. They are the peoples that arrived in all the far out places first. The Gentiles. Here are the descendants of Ham and the nations that began from them. Great cities being built, and then we see the first kings, and here's the origin of the Philistines, including Goliath and the Rephaim. The peoples of the Canaanites and their nations. These are the sons of Ham after their family. And the sons of Shem in the beginning of these nations, and their descendants are also named. And this is the beginning of nations on the earth after the flood. And so the Sumerian Empire rises first, and after that it waned. The Egyptian Empire rises in power. We see the rise of the Babylonian Empire, and then we see the rise and fall of several empires around that region. And world history totally revolved around the Mediterranean and Egypt and Iran. There were tribes of people in all the world at this point, but civilization had a location, and it was right there around Canaan. At this point, these civilizations start to record their history. Hieroglyphs in Egypt, cuneiform tablets in Sumer and Elam. But in 1450 BC, the Egyptians record a battle of Armageddon. In 1400, they name a new god, Amun-Ra, in their pantheon. And then they record a new people showing up in the land of Canaan, the Hebrews.